The ongoing tensions in the Middle East have reignited global scrutiny over Iran's nuclear ambitions. As the region teeters on the brink of instability, Iran's uranium enrichment progress has set off alarms among world powers. With its stockpile of enriched uranium reaching 60%, Tehran is perilously close to crossing the threshold necessary for building nuclear weapons. This poses profound implications for the balance of power in the Middle East and for international security. The Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, JCPOA, signed in 2015 between Iran, the United States, and 5 other world powers, China, France, Russia, the UK, and Germany, was hailed as a landmark deal to curb Iran's nuclear program. The agreement required Iran to limit uranium enrichment to 3.67%, far below the 90% needed for weapons-grade material, and cap its enriched uranium stockpile at 300 kilograms. In return, crippling international sanctions on Iran were eased. However, the deal unraveled in 2018 when the United States, under President Donald Trump, unilaterally withdrew, citing inadequacies in addressing Iran's missile program and regional interventions. The U.S. imposed a maximum pressure campaign of sanctions, prompting Iran to gradually violate its JCPOA commitments. By 2021, Iran had resumed uranium enrichment at unprecedented levels, reaching the current 60%, a short technical step from weapons-grade enrichment. A key term in discussions about nuclear proliferation is nuclear escape time, the time it would take for a country to produce enough fissile material for a nuclear weapon. For Iran, this would mean enriching 25 kilograms of uranium to 90%, the standard for weapons-grade material. This metric is crucial in evaluating the immediacy of the threat posed by Iran's nuclear advancements. Several factors determine nuclear escape time. Infrastructure. Advanced centrifuges accelerate uranium enrichment, reducing the time needed for weapons-grade production. Stockpile size. The quantity of already enriched uranium affects how quickly it can be further refined. 3. Technical expertise. The efficiency and reliability of Iran's nuclear technology play a critical role in shortening escape time. Experts and policymakers agree that Iran has significantly reduced its nuclear escape time. Some assessments suggest Iran could produce enough fissile material for a bomb within 1 to 2 weeks. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken echoed these concerns in mid-2023, stating that Iran is just a matter of weeks away from crossing the nuclear threshold. However, it is essential to distinguish between having fissile material and assembling a functional nuclear weapon. Producing a deployable bomb involves several additional steps. Weapon design. Developing a warhead capable of initiating a nuclear chain reaction. Testing. Conducting tests to ensure reliability and functionality. Delivery systems. Designing warheads compatible with ballistic missiles or other delivery mechanisms. Even with enriched uranium in hand, it could take Iran several months to a year to build a fully operational nuclear weapon. Iran's nuclear infrastructure has seen significant advancements in recent years. The installation of advanced centrifuges, such as the IR-6, has allowed Tehran to enrich uranium at faster rates than ever before. This technological leap has significantly shortened its nuclear escape time, raising concerns among international observers. Reports from the International Atomic Energy Agency, IAEA, reveal that Iran now possesses enough 60% enriched uranium to produce at least one nuclear weapon. Some analyses suggest that its current stockpile could be further enriched to produce material for multiple bombs within weeks. Developing a nuclear weapon goes beyond uranium enrichment. Iran's progress in weapon design, including the ability to miniaturize warheads for missile deployment, remains uncertain. Intelligence reports indicate that Iran's earlier Ahmad program laid the groundwork for weaponization, but significant hurdles remain. If Iran were to develop a nuclear weapon, it could trigger a dangerous arms race in the Middle East. Countries like Saudi Arabia, Turkey, and Egypt might feel compelled to pursue their own nuclear programs, destabilizing the region further. Israel has consistently viewed Iran's nuclear ambitions as an existential threat. With a history of preemptive strikes on nuclear facilities in Iraq, 1981, and Syria, 2007, Israel has not shied away from military action. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu recently confirmed that Israel had targeted elements of Iran's nuclear infrastructure, signaling its readiness to act unilaterally. The United States and its allies share Israel's concerns. While Washington has emphasized diplomacy, it has also maintained the option of military intervention to prevent Iran from acquiring nuclear weapons. The potential for conflict involving major powers could have severe global repercussions. Emergency plan. Iran could produce a crude nuclear device within 6 months. While not suitable for missile deployment, such a device could serve as a test weapon, signaling Tehran's nuclear capabilities to the world. Full-scale development. By reconstructing its uranium production complex and leveraging its expertise from the Ahmad program, Iran could develop a deployable nuclear warhead within 2 years. This pathway would involve overcoming significant technical challenges, including warhead miniaturization and missile integration. Despite its advancements, Iran faces formidable obstacles in its pursuit of nuclear weapons. Detection risks. Enriching uranium to 90% would almost certainly be detected by international monitors, inviting swift action from adversaries like the US and Israel. Technical barriers. Miniaturizing a warhead for missile deployment is a complex process requiring advanced technology and expertise. Military threats. Both Israel and the US have vowed to prevent Iran from becoming a nuclear-armed state. A preemptive strike on Iran's nuclear facilities remains a distinct possibility. The acquisition of nuclear weapons by Iran would likely trigger a domino effect across the Middle East. Saudi Arabia. As Iran's chief regional rival, Saudi Arabia has consistently warned against Tehran's nuclear ambitions. Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman has stated that if Iran acquires nuclear weapons, Riyadh will follow suit. Saudi Arabia's financial resources and close ties with nuclear-capable nations such as Pakistan make this a credible threat. Turkey and Egypt. Other major powers in the region, such as Turkey and Egypt, might also pursue nuclear programs to counterbalance Iran, further destabilizing the region. A nuclear-armed Iran would embolden its proxies, such as Hezbollah in Lebanon, the Houthis in Yemen, and Shia militias in Iraq. These groups could escalate their activities, threatening U.S. allies like Israel, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE. The fear of a nuclear umbrella shielding Iranian proxies could provoke preemptive actions from Israel and Saudi Arabia, leading to broader regional conflicts. Iran's success in acquiring nuclear weapons could undermine global non-proliferation norms. Other countries, particularly in volatile regions, may perceive international mechanisms as ineffective and pursue their own nuclear programs, eroding decades of progress under treaties like the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT. The Middle East accounts for a significant share of global oil exports. A nuclear-armed Iran could disrupt shipping lanes in the Strait of Hormuz, a vital choke point for global energy supplies. Heightened tensions could lead to soaring oil prices, affecting economies worldwide. Saudi Arabia has long expressed interest in developing a civilian nuclear program. However, in response to a nuclear-armed Iran, Riyadh could pivot toward military nuclear capabilities. The kingdom could leverage its close ties with Pakistan, a nuclear-armed state, for technological or material support, increase investments in domestic nuclear infrastructure to achieve rapid weaponization. Saudi Arabia would likely deepen its security ties with the United States and other Western powers. This could include increased purchases of advanced missile defense systems, such as the THAAD and Patriot systems, strengthening intelligence-sharing networks to monitor Iran's activities. A nuclear-armed Iran might push Saudi Arabia to adopt more aggressive policies in the region. This could include direct military action against Iranian proxies in Yemen, Iraq, and Syria, coordinated efforts with allies like Israel and the UAE to counter Iranian influence. Riyadh might use international forums, such as the United Nations, to rally global opposition to Iran's nuclear ambitions. It could also spearhead initiatives within the Arab League to create a unified regional stance against Tehran. Israel considers Iran's nuclear program an existential threat and has vowed to prevent Tehran from acquiring nuclear weapons. With a history of preemptive strikes on nuclear facilities in Iraq, 1981, and Syria, 2007, Israel is likely to take unilateral military action if diplomacy fails. Recent statements from Israeli officials suggest that plans for targeting Iran's nuclear infrastructure are already in place. While the United States prefers a diplomatic solution, it has not ruled out military intervention. A nuclear-armed Iran would challenge U.S. dominance in the region and threaten the security of key allies. Washington's response could include targeted strikes, military action to destroy Iran's nuclear facilities, enhanced sanctions, further economic pressure to cripple Iran's ability to maintain its nuclear program, regional coalitions, strengthening alliances with Gulf states and Israel to counterbalance Iran. Efforts to revive the JCPOA or negotiate a new deal remain fraught with challenges. Iran demands sanctions relief as a precondition for any agreement, while the U.S. insists on strict limitations on Iran's nuclear activities. If diplomacy fails, military intervention could become a reality. Israel's consistent rhetoric and past actions suggest it would not hesitate to strike Iran's nuclear facilities. Similarly, the U.S. maintains the capability to conduct targeted strikes, though it prefers a multilateral approach. Iran's nuclear program represents one of the most pressing challenges in global security today. With its nuclear escape time shrinking and geopolitical tensions rising, the stakes are higher than ever. Whether through diplomacy or force, the international community must act decisively to address the looming threat of a nuclear-armed Iran. The coming months will likely define the trajectory of the Middle East, whether it descends into further conflict or finds a path to fragile stability. For now, the world watches and waits as the clock ticks toward an uncertain future.